Hi guys, it's Ray here from Man City Fan Chat. Hope you're all well today. Well, you might just be waking up to the news that Dougas Luiz is on his way to Aston Villa in a reported £15 million deal. Absolute shocker. That's come out of left field. It's come from nowhere. No inkling that this was on the cards. So let's have a look at Dougas Luiz. I mean, he's a kid. He's 21 years old, a Brazilian kid. He started, I think, for the under-20 team in Brazil. But he's never played for City. Now, one of the issues we've had with him, we couldn't get a work permit for him because he's non-EU and he's not played for his national team. That's a big, big problem. So when we first got him, I think the rumour was it was about 10 million quid from Vasco da Gama in Brazil. He went out to Girona on loan. I don't think he had a great spell there. He came back. We were hopeful to get a work permit. I think Pep personally tried to help with that work permit appeal. Never got it, the work permit, because he hadn't played for the national team. So he went out on Girona again, played pretty well last season. And you might remember that famous win over Real Madrid, where I think Girona won 2-1, but sadly they were relegated at the end of the season. Now, Dougas Luiz, we've been looking forward to this kid because he plays in that defensive midfield role that we were hoping that he'd come and take over from Fernandinho. Now, last season, I thought if he got his work permit, obviously he'd have been at City, he'd been the understudy for Fernandinho, and he'd have got games in in the Carabao Cup, maybe the FA Cup, maybe the odd game in the Champions League once we were qualified, and the odd league game and bits and pieces here and there just to integrate him. And then maybe this season, if he was good enough, he could have taken over from Fernandinho. Now, that's not going to happen. Selling him for 50 million quid, okay, we'll get a £5 million profit on the deal. Which is still not shabby for a kid who's we've owned for 2 years and has never played for the club. But it's a real shame because apparently Pep had real high hopes and real high regard for Dougas Luiz. He thought he had a lot of potential, and that's why he pushed for this work permit personally last summer in this appeal that we did. And as I said, we didn't get it. So, I mean, what could this deal mean for Dougas Luiz? Well, obviously Villa are spending money. They're spending big money to get players in to try and keep them in the Premier League. Staying in the Premier League is worth, I think, a minimum just being there is 82 million, and then that's without any prize money, I think, and without any TV money, or they call it facility fees, basically, however many times you're on telly. So, obviously Liverpool and City, who are on the TV the most, got a lot more than someone like Huddersfield, who were probably on TV the least last season. If we were on TV maybe 15 games more than Huddersfield, we'll get somewhere in the region of 10 to 20, I think it's 20 million quid extra. So, whereas Liverpool and City are getting somewhere in the region of 160 plus million pounds a year, Huddersfield might be getting just over around 100, something like that. I'm not checking the figures for accuracy, but it's just to give you an idea. So Villa are spending the cash, in some unusual ways. Some of the one of the big signings they've already made, and now Dougas Luiz. So what's he going to bring to Villa? Well, I think he's going to bring. He's a decent player. As I said, Pep had a high regard for him, and it's only time will tell. Is he the right sort of player for Aston Villa? I can see them struggling this season. I think most people can, because there is a big gap to bridge from the Championship to the Premier League. It's a huge gap, and you can see what normally happens. Most teams can't bridge that gap, and you might get one that can stay up, but usually one or two that come up will go back down immediately. If not that season, possibly the season after. And they might be able to just stay above that relegation zone, and then the next season they're just not capable of doing it again. So what kind of deal would we have done for Dougas Luiz? Well, in terms of this transfer, this sale, potential sale, sorry, that's looks like it might be going through. I expect us to have done something like a buyback clause or a sell-on clause, at least. There's no way we'd let him go without something like that buyback clause, because we can see the value of that. Look at Angelino. We sold him to PSV for apparently about 5 million quid. We bought him back for about 5.5, 6 million, something like that. We're not sure about the actual numbers, but the kid is worth a lot more. And that's so. This is actually it could be a win-win for City, because we could not get him into the Premier League at Man City because he hadn't played for the Brazilian national team. Now, I think the fact that the size of the transfer fee and that he's is going to make a big difference. I think that's going to help to get his work permit. I mean, Villa must be very confident that they can secure that work permit, even though he hasn't played for the national team. They must be very confident that they can secure that work permit for him, possibly due to the size of this fee, and to say he is an exceptional talent and we should be making exceptions for him. Now, I'm just starting to think, because it's only 15 minutes ago I read about this news about Dougas Luiz. I'm starting to think, instead of, because we can't get him, maybe selling him to somebody else who can get a work permit for him, gives us the opportunity to see Dougas Luiz in the Premier League, which is what we wanted to see this season just gone. Now, next season, if he's in the Premier League playing for Villa, and he does all right, or he does well enough to warrant a move back to City, maybe we can buy him back. Maybe we can exercise that buyback clause. Maybe we leave him at Aston Villa for 2 years to really, really develop. And then by that time, Fernandinho's gone. We've got Rodri. And maybe that's the time for Dougas Luiz to come in. Who knows? Whether 1 or 2 seasons in the Premier League at Villa would be excellent for Douglas. It's one of those wait and sees. It's a breaking story. You can read a bit more about it in the Telegraph. They've called it an exclusive. I'm not sure where they've got it from. I thought it come from somewhere in South America, journalists there. But hey, you know, the story's out there already. So if you want to see some more information, go and check it out on the Telegraph. Guys, finally, if you haven't already subscribed to this new YouTube channel, we've been going a month now, just over a month, about 35 days. It's been a great experience so far. It'd be fantastic if you could subscribe, dead easy. Just click on that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you're notified as soon as new videos come out, and get involved with our live streams. We do try and do 2 live streams every day. One at 9 p.m, which is more of a general chat, mostly football chat, but we talk other sports as well, but it's mostly football, mostly Man City. And we're trying to do a 15 to 20 minute slot in the early afternoon around 3 o'clock. It's all UK time, where we just focus on football, and whatever information and news is out there about Man City, that's where the focus is. We don't want to digress onto other football topics, other sports, or life in general. The idea is a couple of minutes just to warm up, and then bang, get in 10-15 minutes of football about Man City, or the most important topics of the day so far, and then a few minutes at the end, 3 to 5 minutes, where we'll answer your questions. And that's the way it goes. Get involved, guys. That's one of the only ways to get this channel out there. We're buzzing. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the start of the season. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but fingers crossed, with a lot of hard work, support of you guys, we'll get there. See you around, Blues.